people, Jordan Anderson. I'm here with my very good friend and fellow teacher, Carla Hilger.
Hello.
What do you teach?
I teach American government, African American history, and U.S. history.
All really fun stuff. So
Exactly.
Carla is one of my social studies peeps that I've been working with as a technology coach the last 2 years. And so I was going to use her just to talk about some of the experiences we've had and technology we've learned over the last 2 years. So what was your experience and understanding of technology before the technology coach position was created?
Probably very little.
Okay.
I probably didn't have a lot of experience with things like Google Drive or Docs. Didn't really understand, could not figure out how to use the Haiku, which is, I'm not even really sure how to describe that.
Learning management system.
Learning management system, couldn't really figure that out. The basic stuff I knew how to do. Sometimes it was just me spending time clicking on buttons, seeing what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah, which is what sometimes we have to do, unfortunately. What are your thoughts on what classroom technology should look like as a classroom teacher?
I think it should look like it's user-friendly and that it makes things more accessible to the kids in terms of videos or websites or articles or just something that will supplement their learning experience.
Okay, and have you, like, since you started using things like Google Drive and Haiku and the kids using their Chromebooks, have you liked that experience or have you not liked that experience?
Well, I didn't think I was going to like that experience, but I actually do like that experience in the fact that, like for example, today I wanted my government kids to read an article and then do a little write-up on the article. So with Haiku, I linked a website, but unfortunately the website was blocked. But then, knowing how to use Haiku, I just copied the article off the website, dropped it into a document on Haiku, thinking that would work, but then Haiku copied it strangely. Like it cut off the right margin, so you couldn't read the entire article. But then, very quickly, I instead went back into Google Docs and copied the article into a Google Doc form and then put the form onto Haiku, and much to the dislike of my kids, it actually worked, and so then they had access to the article.
Well, and here's something I love is that you know, we've worked like one-on-one on some things for Haiku,
Right.
but then you kind of become a problem solver for how to do things throughout the classroom and using Haiku,
Right.
so that you can solve those problems and don't necessarily need to like call and say, hey, I need you, come do this.
Right, come do this right away. Right,
Yeah.
no, I was able to like quickly figure that out. And one of the things that helped is that I have a really nice class and they kind of just would bear with me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. What has been your prior experience in years past with technology professional development?
Pretty sparse, I guess you would say. They would bring us all into one room. You would have somebody just kind of read through a PowerPoint, and unfortunately it just never went very well. The other problem has been they would teach us how to do something and then they would immediately in the following year get rid of that program. So you spent the whole summer trying to figure out how to use that program and then it was gone.
Yeah. So having something like maybe YouTube videos that you can access to watch how to do a skill, and then having a one-on-one person who can help you set up that skill would possibly be more beneficial for your learning than just a big auditorium with a PowerPoint.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. Unless, and even if, yes, and sometimes they would send the PowerPoint out where you could access it later, but again, I think more of a one-on-one tutorial or a video would be helpful.
Okay, awesome. How do you feel as a teacher that you learn best for your students in your classroom? So if you want to know how to do something, how do you learn best?
How do I learn best? I'm originally from Missouri. That's the show me state. Go Tigers. So I would actually have to have somebody show me and walk me through the steps. Yes, especially if it is technology that I'm unfamiliar with. I need to know exactly how, hit the drop-down menu, hit this, click on this, click next, that sort of thing.
Awesome. So like a tutorial video. What professional development do you wish you could participate in? Either a topic or a type or whatever.
Let's see. I guess it was helpful when we had the in-service a few months ago and you did the different websites or the different apps. That was helpful. I would say the only problem was it was a little bit overwhelming because we were in a time crunch and we looked at a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So if we could have an in-service where we just looked at one or two things and then really kind of dove into that or applied that and got something set up.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And something I was talking to Christy Baumgartner and Cindy Inman about was that professional development day and those breakout sessions and how that kind of let the teacher have more autonomy with what they were going to pick and choose what they wanted to learn about.
Right.
And how that makes all learners be more willing to learn.
Right, especially if you get to choose.
Yes. How have you increased your own understanding and application of technology in the last 2 years?
I think it has increased quite a bit, especially with the Google Docs and Haiku. Like I said, I was very resistant against Haiku, but I think that was because when it was first introduced, it was almost too much. It was just like, everybody's gonna do this, you're gonna do absolutely everything. But now I use Haiku as I use it just as a storage site and then sometimes a way for kids to access things that I want them to look at.
Yeah.
But I also think I like the Google Drive as well, as far as making PowerPoints and again, storing things.
Yeah. And Carla, 2 years ago, I remember like our first day when I was like, we're gonna do this, and this in this big meeting, and I had some other teachers who were very resistant, and she was like, well, I'll look at it, I'll see. But she didn't do Haiku at all last year. We just kind of dove into Google Drive, and she kind of came like a little Google professional. Yeah. But then this year, like all of a sudden, because I didn't feel like I needed to worry about her this year. She knew what she was doing. I look over and she's like doing Haiku kind of on her own. I'm like, oh, yeah. I see you.
I found the way to do it on my own. I didn't want to use it as like some teachers use it as we have to do it every day. We have to use it for every assignment. We have to, and I didn't really want to. I was kind of resisting against that, but I found my own way of using it.
And figuring out how to do those basic skills for Haiku and then making it your own, I think is what a lot of teachers could benefit from instead of feeling the pressure to do it all up, using it the best way it works for your classroom.
Right, I'm trying to add every year, every chapter, every little bit, I'm trying to add a little bit more onto Google Docs and to Haiku so that I have both of them at my ready if I need it. Now, in the past, I will also say I used Prezzies, and I made up a number of Prezzies, but now I don't like the Prezzies as much as I like the Google Docs.
Yeah, they've got some good themes in Google Slides.
Right, and plus the fact that if you save a video in a Prezi, it may not necessarily play.
Yes.
Which is problematic.
Which is why, and since Google and YouTube work so well together, it plays.
Yes.
And Carla found, before really anyone else in the social studies department, you found how to do the Google image search right there in Google Slides.
Yeah.
Before like anyone else in the department. Before like, I even got to that. You found it.
Cutting edge. What can I say?
Okay, well thank you so much. Bye Mizzou.
Bye Mizzou.